predicted this to be a good trap.
Any of them go in the bucket, it'd be a good trap. Right, see if we feel lucky.
So your dad wasn't a fisherman?
What's that?
Your dad wasn't a fisherman?
No, my dad was a lieutenant commander in the Navy. Kind of a bean counter type guy when he got out of civilian life.
Well, he counted beans, you count lobsters.
Yeah, same thing. Actually, I think I kind of get my independence from my mother's side. She was 20 years old, living in Wisconsin, and ran away to join the Navy and join World War II effort. Everybody thought that she was such a bad girl for running away. And
She was a Rosie?
she was a wave. She was in the waves of the Navy. She had a long career, and that's where my parents met. But she was always independent. She always urged me to be my own person and get out, keep moving. See everything you can, do everything you can, make your own decisions. So, take a lot of that with me wherever I go.
But you, generally you just fished here in San Diego, right? Not in
Yeah, I
parts
mean,
of the
I've lived my
country?
whole life in San Diego, and I really like the fact that I've stayed in one place and I'm kind of grounded, and then I can leave and go see other places, but always have a nice solid place to come back to. I don't know what I'd do without the ocean. Been a few times where I thought I might be able to do something else, but I'm here till the end, I'm afraid. For my recreation, I love the desert. You know, I don't like the mountains that much, you know, trees and such, but I like the desert. Nice and warm, quiet. That's the entrance to San Diego Harbor. Where I fish crabs at is 2 miles past that, and then all the way down to Mexico. That looks pretty comfortable there, Elena. Looks like you're having a wonderful vacation day.
The fisherman life sure is rough, John.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Where's my margarita?
We're gonna go down to Mexico later as soon as we're done. It's only a few miles away.
He's like really gripping on.
Alright, guy, you gotta go back.
Aww. Bye bye.
See you later. Look at that little guy.
Aww.
Get you in about 3 years.
Alright, we'll see you in 3 years.
The ropes are 90 feet long, and we're fishing between 60 and 70 feet of water. That way I got enough slack in them. When the current runs, the buoy won't get pulled underneath the surface, especially if it gets kelp on it. And I've got enough to where I can get the buoy up to the rail without having to struggle. Sheep crabs, female sheep crabs, we call them spider crabs. See you later. That we think that we probably won't catch lobsters is across the full moon. So today is the full moon, and we're catching something today because these traps were actually baited prior to the full moon. The ones that I'm baiting today are going to have to ride out the moon. And what happens is the octopus come awake during the moon, and the octopus is the #1 predator of the lobster. All the fish get active because the octopus are out and the fish are chasing the octopus, and the lingcod get active, the sheephead get active, the sand bass, and all the predators. So the lobsters hunker down. They either leave go way back in their caves, or they go out in the sandy areas and hang on. They don't want to go in the traps because they don't feel safe. And then what happens is, immediately after the moon, maybe 3-4 days, we'll get a real good crawl of lobsters because they've been holding on for a week, and then boom, out they all come. And almost every time there's a full moon, after the full moon, we see something we haven't seen before. The traps will be filled with females, or the traps will be filled with males, or we'll see thousands of little lobsters, or they'll shed their shells, or something will happen every full moon. But generally, each full moon it gets a little less and a little less until we're...
You mean through the course of the season?
Yeah.
Well, I know we've had some really busy nights at the restaurant with full moons.
Yeah.
But we weren't necessarily expecting it, and then we were like, oh, that explains it.
Now, the ocean really evolves around the moon. And something I can't explain is that in the winter, on the full moon, the ocean always goes calm and the weather goes tranquil. Always on the moon. In the summer, on the moon, the weather always gets rough and windy. Can you tell me why? All these little girls were in this trap and this big bad male came in. I am going to take 25 of these to Nobu Sushi Bar in Solana Beach. And then I have to put some in reserve for Zenbu Sushi Bar in La Jolla. I'll just put them aside for them, and then he always likes to make sure he has 20 or 30 lobsters waiting for him. So the large ones really won't go to either of those applications, so I'll put them separate in a little receiver at the dock and wait for my phone to ring and someone to say, hey, you got any large ones? And then I'll sell to them. So, trying to keep the price at the maximum without selling them off to the whole city.
And the Japanese restaurants, they use them for sushi or for something else?
No, they make lobster dynamite.
Oh, okay.
That's the main dish that they make.
Right.